Thank you. Your next delegation. You have 5 minutes.
Okay, I would like to speak to you now about the revised emissions monitoring plan, which has been submitted to the region, by the regions to the Ministry of the Environment. The Energy from Waste Advisory Committee members were given an opportunity to comment on that draft plan in August 2011, as I told you. We submitted 13 comments to be considered by the project team, and I've just told you that none of our comments and concerns were addressed or incorporated in the revised emissions monitoring report. The Durham York project team did not act upon the detailed and legitimate concerns we brought to their attention. We were not, and we still are asking we were not asking for unreasonable changes, but rather we are asking for very reasonable and available monitoring, and monitoring that is encouraged in the Ministry of Environment's own Guideline A7. Furthermore, while Durham Regional Council passed a resolution in January 2008 committing to state-of-the-art monitoring, other jurisdictions with older incinerators have more frequent monitoring for pollutants of high concern. Members of this council must understand that most of the pollutants of greatest concern, particulate matter, mercury, and other heavy metals, and other toxic pollutants, will only be monitored at the stack 1 day a year. The proposed frequency of stack testing in the emissions monitoring plan is not adequate to ensure protection of public health, and it is less than what is happening in other jurisdictions. In an August 2011 fact sheet, Metro Vancouver reports that the Burnaby incinerator, operated by Covanta, does stack testing 3 times a year for heavy metals and particulate. It states, and I quote, "Independent stack tests are performed on each processing line 3 times a year to test for acid gases, total hydrocarbons, metals, and particulate matter." Another document produced for Metro Vancouver by Stantec, entitled Waste to Energy, a Technical Review of Municipal Solid Waste Thermal Treatment Practices, states that the European Union Waste Initiative Directive, quote, also requires at least 2 measurements per year of heavy metals, end quote, and Table 8-1 of that same document also shows that the European Waste Incineration Directive requires continuous emissions monitoring of particulate matter. We feel that one of the most missing pieces in the region's monitoring plan is the failure to provide continuous monitoring of particulate matter. The Ontario A7 guideline clearly encourages high sensitivity continuous particulate monitoring over opacity monitoring, which is the crude substitute being used by the regions and which is what is in your current plan. Under the region's emissions monitoring plan, particulate matter will only be quantitatively measured 1 day a year. So in other jurisdictions, you've got it being measured like every minute of every day of every year. Here, you're going to measure it 1 day a year. It should have been a no-brainer that this facility should monitor particulate matter continuously, considering that your EA showed baseline values for particulate matter that already exceeded World Health Organization benchmark levels, and recently, a month ago, the Canadian Council of Ministers of Environment approved new air quality objectives of 25. Your baseline was 28.6 for the 24-hour average particulate matter, and of 10 for the annual average particulate matter, and yours were 10.2. I'm running out of time, and there's so much more I need to tell you because there were also errors in that emissions monitoring plan. In fact, for some of the pollutants, they were considerably higher than what was in the emissions monitoring plan. They were the wrong values. They were considerably higher than what was required in your certificate of approval. This was missed by, this plan, you have to remember, was submitted to the MOE. The MOE took a look at it, sent back comments. They did not comment on the fact that it had the wrong values. I brought this to the attention of the Works Committee. A few days later, they had revised and changed it to the correct values. It was sent back to the ministry. But those errors, I hope that I have 5 seconds. I hope someone asks me to tell you a little bit more about those errors and when they occurred and when those changes were made. Thank you.